the SEC has caught up, and after allowing Bitcoin spot ETFs, they are now allowing Ethereum spot ETFs as of this week. I did an ETF analysis video a few weeks back where I leave behind all the judging of crypto to look at Bitcoin ETFs to determine what was the best one. Today, I'm gonna do the same. I'll be using my finance knowledge to analyze the 9 Ethereum ETFs that are available and sharing which ETF, in my opinion, is the best one to buy. Just remember that this is simply my opinion and should not be taken as financial advice. Let's get to it. What I'll be doing is looking at these areas and picking my winner for each one and sharing my overall pick at the end. And just to avoid confusion, I just want to tell you that Grayscale has 2 different ETFs that do the same thing, tracking Ethereum. And I'll be sure to differentiate between the two. The first aspect is expense ratio. For the sake of perpetuity of this video, I'm ignoring any promotional terms that may be going on right now. For example, some funds are having 0% expense ratio for the first 6 months. Instead, I'm looking at expense ratios that will take effect in the long term, so the actual expense ratio. And the winner in that is Grayscale's Ethereum Mini Trust with an expense ratio of 0.15%. The truth is that most funds are within 19 and 25 bips, so the difference won't be too much. Going on a small tangent, if you look at the list of the 9 funds, you will see that they're all pretty close, except for Grayscale's ETHE, which has an expense ratio of 2.5%. The reason for this is because Grayscale's ETHE started long before Ethereum ETFs were allowed. It started in 2017 as a trust. And it is much similar to what happened with Grayscale and its Bitcoin ETF. They had a futures Bitcoin fund that was really expensive and they started the process of transitioning to the spot ETF. However, due to the high expense ratio, this led to a massive outflows of AUMs into cheaper ETFs. So to avoid this happening again, Grayscale started a second ETF called Grayscale Ethereum Mini Trust, ETH, which is the second one and the winner in this category. Then for dividends, it's an interesting topic here. If you watch the Bitcoin video, you remember that Bitcoin and its ETFs do not pay any dividends. However, for Ethereum, it's a little different. At the core of Ethereum, there's something called stacking, which basically means pledging your Ethereum as collateral to validate transactions on the Ethereum network and earn additional Ethereum for doing that. So what does this mean? Well, it means that there's a clear path for the asset managers to earn money that they can pay out as dividends. On average, stacking can yield a little over 2%. But as things stand right now, no company has said that they will be paying dividends. So the winner here is none. But hey, this could change and be a good thing. Then for market price, out of the 9 ETFs, the most expensive is VanEck with a price of $47.90 as of Friday's close. The cheapest is Grayscale Mini with a price of $3.08. The rest of ETFs are somewhere in between. However, in my opinion, the ETFs with the best price are Fidelity and Invesco, with a price as of last Friday of $32.79. This is the best one, in my opinion, because it is the closest at assimilating the last price of Ethereum, which was $3,254. In theory, an investment in either fund should yield the same regardless of the price. But if you had to choose a winner, for me, it would be Fidelity and Invesco. Then for volume, the highest volume by a long shot is Ethereum Mini with a volume of 37 million on Friday. Next in the list is the other Grayscale at 17.6 million, and I will dare to say that a big portion of that is because people are transitioning from the one with a higher expense ratio to the one with a lower expense ratio. Then the highest AUM is Grayscale's ETHE with 7 billion, but since Monday they have seen over $1 billion in outflows, showing they have the highest AUM just because they were already an established entity since 2017 that just became an ETF this week. Next in the list, it's Grayscale's Mini with 1 billion, followed by iShares with around 350 million. So the realistic winner here is Grayscale's Mini. Then for options, just like Bitcoin, there are currently no ETFs that allow options, but if they ever are, this will be a very interesting market. In that case, if that happens, the ETF that will be preferred for that is the one with the highest volume. But for now, there's no winner in this category. Then for leverage, none of the ETFs that we're looking at are levered. But a levered Ethereum ETF market does exist, and it's something you could buy if your risk profile and your interest align with that. For price performance, we have to be careful here because there's only 1 week of data, so keep that in mind. With that being said, the performance of all the funds last Friday was within 20 bips. This shows that all the ETFs are pretty much performing in tandem and tracking the underlying Ether on a pretty close basis. Again, also for tracking error, it's just a little too early to tell. But if you compare it with ETFs in other asset classes, the Ethereum ETF just tracks one thing. So there shouldn't be much difference across the 9 options that you have as far as tracking error. So, what's my pick? Let's keep in mind that Ethereum is much different than Bitcoin. To start, Bitcoin has a market cap of 1.3 trillion compared to Ethereum, which is around 400 billion. Also, Bitcoin has a limited supply forever that can be mined, compared to Ethereum that also has a limited supply but on a yearly basis. Taking that into consideration, my overall pick is Grayscale's Mini on their symbol ETH. Even though I like BlackRock because they're the biggest asset manager in the world, Grayscale has some experience in this industry that can play to their advantage. Also, it's a low expense ratio, they have the highest AUM and also volume, which makes it, in my opinion, the best choice. But what about you? What do you think and what will you pick? Leave it in the comments and I'll check it out. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Peace!